All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Syn Lab Science. This is our short video of how to kind of navigate science here in Syn Lab. For those of you returning, a lot of things look familiar. For those of you who are new to Syn Lab, we've got some different things going on, so we're just going to kind of walk you through and show you what Mrs. Velardo and I have set up for you. First of all, as you guys are aware, we have moved to Schoology. We believe this is going to help us keep track of the progress of the students a little bit better, so hopefully it is as intuitive as it seems to be for us as teachers. Bear with us, we're kind of getting used to this as we work through these things. One of the things that you want to pay attention to on the left-hand side of the Schoology page is where the updates on the materials are listed, as well as the gradebook items. In the materials are all of our units that we have, and inside of each one of the units we have different tasks that the students need to complete in order to achieve mastery for those units. We also have listed a suggested pacing guide, and each one of the pacing guides has dates and the units of when the students should be getting through each of those units. Again, that's based off of a traditional class model. We here in Syn Lab have a different model, and that's fine. Some of you will get through it faster, some of you will get through it a little bit slower, and all of that is okay. And then we have the gradebook look down here in the bottom. In the gradebook, you'll notice that you will have formative assessments, which do not count as a grade, but they just give us an idea if the student is learning what they are supposed to be learning. You have labs, which will be a more traditional style lab, where the kids will be in a lab room with either myself, Mrs. Velardo, Mr. Semanek, or Mr. Houston, and they will be running a traditional lab like everybody is used to running in class. And then the summative assessments are the major portion of the grade as we kind of move through there. Again, if we click on the left-hand side, materials, you'll start to see the units popping up, and you'll notice that there's these little must completes. The student will work their way through. When the unit is blue, it's hyperlinked. They're able to open it up. Inside of there, there's a unit guide that has all of the chapters, that has resource videos, free practice assignments, activities, keys for them to work on. If there is a lab, they'll have the labs posted, and then the formative assessment or quizzes, as well as where we're going to get to the summative assessment. How do the grades work? As I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, formative assessments are quizzes. They are just checkpoints for us to see if you are learning what you're supposed to be learning. We require you to get about an 80% or higher to achieve mastery and move on to the next formative assessment. Labs and activities will be completed in a more traditional setting. Those are about 10% of your overall grade, and then the summative assessments, which are the unit tests, are the ones that are taken at the end, and those count towards your grade. Based on how you score on your summative assessment will determine whether you can move on, whether you need to make test corrections, or whether you need to meet with Mr. Arnold or Mrs. Velardo and get some remedial work on those concepts that you have not mastered. So we'll take a look at your test. 80 or higher, you've mastered the unit. You may move on if you so choose. 70 to 79, that is considered close, and you can do some test corrections, and you'll meet with Mr. Arnold and Mrs. Velardo, and we'll kind of go over what you need to study and work on before you do those test corrections. And then anything under 70 is where we will sit down and we'll talk about what parts of the unit did you not get. We will give you some assignments or activities to work on to strengthen your understanding in those areas. It's last but not least, how do we kind of keep up with the labs and other information? As we said, we're just kind of getting used to this Schoology, so we will have to be making some announcements, and we'll have to be making some changes. When we make those announcements or changes, it'll be posted in the update page of the class, and it'll kind of tell you what's going on, a running agenda of when the labs and things are happening. For those labs, we will have you RSVP, so we know that you have recognized that you have a lab coming up. And then you can also put those labs, I believe, into Google Calendar and set a reminder for you as well. And then every 3 weeks or so, you should be getting a progress report email from your student telling you how they're doing in all of their subjects. Mrs. Velardo and I will sit down and we'll review all those emails, and if everything is good, then you will not probably hear from us. If there are some issues where we think they're moving too fast or maybe they're moving too slow, we'll reach out to you and the student to kind of help you guys see where they're at and how their pacing is going. So that is kind of us here in Syn Lab Science. I know it's a lot I would encourage you to get into Schoology and just click around and kind of play around and see things. If you have any questions, you can always ask your child first. Hopefully they can answer the question. If not, then you can ask us and we will move on from there. Again, if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.